Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Zero product number 142A. This is an aluminum drip cap. This is extruded aluminum with a clear anodized finish over it versus the D. If you change the A to the D, you would get the dark bronze anodized finish. And this is what's called a drip cap. And drip caps look like this. And there's also a smaller version, meaning the projection is quite noticeably smaller. This projection is the typical size that you're going to use at the header or above the doorway. There is an image down below showing the important dimensional property of this item, and let's go over that now. The big drip cap, or the 142A, that's going to have a projection of 2.5 inch. Okay, and that's going to be from the wall or the face of the header to the lip. It's going to have an overall height, and we're just going to guess that. It looks like it's about 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit greater, but right in that range. Where are you going to use a drip cap? You will use a drip cap all the time at exterior openings where you wish to install something at the header so that when the rain and weather comes down on top of the opening, it will get pushed out at 2.5 inch and be driven back or driven away from the face of the door in here. The fact that this is curved down like this is going to make it awfully tough for any water to creep back up this way. And drip caps are one of those pieces of hardware that have to be seen to be believed, it seems. You will encounter in roof exit doors on a roof, okay? Those doors get hammered with weather. You will have a movie theater or a strip mall. A movie theater is a great example because you've got, 30 feet of wall above the ground because it's a movie theater. And you've got all that square footage of area to collect the rain. So if you've got a 6-foot wide pair of doors and you've got 24 feet or 22 feet, let's say, of area above it, 6 times 22 is a lot of square footage to collect rain that's going to trickle down that wall. It's going to hit the brick where the lintel is. It's going to creep that way. It's going to get to the top of the header where there's hopefully certainly a caulk joint, most likely. It's going to come down the face of the header, and then it's going to creep right inside underneath the header to where the top of the door is, get in that 1/8 of an inch margin and just drip down that door. And if it's a northern climate, you will start to see, in my experience, proof of rust as because of that sort of condition in about 2 years, maybe even earlier. That water gets inside the door. The interior of a hollow metal door doesn't have a coat of primer on it. The insulation is what, like it's polystyrene that bonds to the inside face of the door, but the polystyrene's not continuous. There's no primer underneath there because the polystyrene isn't formulated to adhere to prime coat paint. It's formulated to adhere to steel. I've had a client with a strip mall, just a one-story sort of situation, but water mysteriously would get in from the roof eave, and somehow the carpeting on the inside of the opening was just drenched every time there was even a reasonable amount of rain. Really hard to track down. The roofer said his roof was intact. However, the mason, you could tell that there were voids in the installation of the frame to the face brick, the block on the inside. You could tell that there were voids. And really, expandable foam, things of this nature, backer rod, caulk, it's not going to make something watertight. So I said to the client, well, rip the door out, put it in new, start over. Or, here's this $20 item, give this a try. It might kick that rain out far enough where it's not trickling down the inside of that door, getting to that big giant sponge that's been rolled out on the floor that's called a carpet. Sure enough, problem went away. Once we include drip caps as a standard component of a weather stripping kit, people who make a living installing doors and frames will consider it a mandatory line item in the hardware set for that opening. Proven effective as a result of that. So now you know where you'll use it and why you'll hopefully use it. Generally, a 2.5-inch projection, you're only going to use that on top of doors or maybe on top of windows. There is a 9/16 projection version, which would be used very effectively on the bottom of the door, and you can certainly order from Zero integrated door sweeps that will incorporate a drip cap. Screws are included in a complimentary finish. Okay, these are self-drilling. It's not my understanding that that's standard equipment. This one happens to come with it. It could have been specified that way. You'll want to be mindful of having to drill into a frame that's been pumped with mortar. If you know that you're going to install this material, maybe give yourself properly a dust box behind there, but what might work as an infield solution might be a small amount of, styrofoam that's placed in behind the header face with some tape, so that when you drill, after you've set it with the mortar concrete, the mason's done his job, you've got some room to get the screws into. So if you're going to try to hit mortar with 5 screws and you've got 8 openings, that just took a job from being really quick and easy to being dreadfully long because of the amount of drill bits that you're going to destroy hitting that concrete. Okay. A common convention for a drip cap at the header would be so that it runs the entire width of the frame, not of the door. So if you had a 3-foot door, common hollow metal with 2-inch jambs, you're going to have a 40-inch long drip cap, which is indeed the case on this order for this client. It's not a 3-foot drip cap, it's a 40-inch drip cap, and you'd want to follow that sort of convention. Very easy to cut. However, you can order any length that you want. If you have need for a custom length, by all means let us know by ordering the next longest piece or pieces, and simply indicate in the comment field the net length that you'd like for us to cut the material back to, and we'll save you the trouble of not only cutting it, but locating that first hole at the proper distance from the edge, and then we'll locate those screws at the proper center to center as well. Now, below this video is a link to a document called Product Brochure, where you will be able to see the 142A used in a very typical sort of installation. Used with an exterior system of gasketing. Importantly, you'll see the 11A referred to, which is the drip cap at the bottom of the door. You wouldn't obviously install that 2.5-inch version at the bottom of the door. Projecting hardware off the face of a door can be a hazard, but you'll see that's a typical installation. What's really nifty to put a belt and suspenders scenario is to add that interlock at the header as well. Very handy. And what you're seeing there is I wouldn't say is a common system, but I would say a very well detailed system that will give you as complete of a solution as you can reasonably hope to have. The automatic door bottom, very elegant. Allows you to seal that door every time the door is closed. The interlock with the drip cap at the top is basically the best thing that you can do to seal the top of that off. And even going further, you could run that same sort of concept down the lock side as well. And while it wouldn't work for the pull side of the door, you would get that sort of coverage on the lock side if you were to want that to work. But the drip caps are just second to none when it comes to effectiveness. Furthermore, and finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Zero products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Zero, their part number 142 in an A clear anodized aluminum finish, drip cap, or any other Zero product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.